For decades, the story of Nigeria's oil and gas has been told from a single lens, the creeks and the swamps of the Niger Delta. But far away from oil flares of Port Harcourt, beyond the mangroves of Delta and Bayelsa, lies another region, a region whose role in Nigeria's energy future has remained hidden, underestimated, even forgotten. This is the Southeast, a land of rolling hills, ancient rivers, and beneath its soil, one of the largest untapped hydrocarbon reserves in West Africa. Today, we uncover the real story, a story backed by facts, figures, and decades of geological research. This is the untold oil and gas wealth of the Southeast. In the heart of West Africa lies a region known for its enterprise, its creativity, and its resilience. A region whose people rebuilt after the war, reinvented themselves after hardship, and rose to become one of the most dynamic populations on the continent. But beneath this land, beneath its red earth and ancient rivers, lies another story, one barely told, one often overlooked, and one that has the power to reshape the energy future of a nation. Today, we journey deep beneath the soils of the southeast of Nigeria to uncover the truth about its abundant oil and gas wealth, a truth grounded not in myths, but in geology, data, and history. This is the untold story. For decades, a powerful myth shaped Nigeria's imagination that the Southeast survives solely on trade, that it has no mineral wealth, no oil basin, no significant natural resources. But such claims are not only inaccurate, they are contradicted by decades of geological surveys, government reports, and international research. Because beneath these hills lies one of Africa's most overlooked inland hydrocarbon provinces, a basin with the potential to alter the energy map of West Africa. To understand how this myth survived, we must return to the very beginning, to the era when Nigeria's oil was young, fragile, and full of uncertainties. The Anambra Basin, a vast sedimentary bowl stretching across Anambra, Imo, Abia, Enugu, and parts of Ebonyi State, first identified by British geologists in the early 1930s. Its structure mirrors other major hydrocarbon basins, from the prolific Niger Delta to the inland basins of Chad, Uganda, and Sudan. What makes the Anambra Basin unique is its completeness. Geologists found mature source rocks dating back 90 million years, thick reservoir sands capable of storing billions of barrels, natural traps and anticlines indicating hydrocarbon accumulation, thermal maturity levels ideal for oil and gas formation. In short, the basin has all the ingredients of a world-class oil province. Yet, development remained slow, not because oil wasn't there, but because attention was elsewhere. As early as the 1930s, British geologists reported natural gas seepages near Nzam, Aguleri, and Okigwe. By the 1950s, Shell, the pioneer oil explorer in Nigeria, drilled several wells across the region. Their findings were surprising. Oil shows in multiple wells, gas flows strong enough to flare, reservoirs thick and widespread, Wells like Amechi 1, Ajuri 1, and Obu 1 showed remarkable promise. But then, history intervened. In 1956, Shell struck the giant Oloibiri field in Bayelsa, a discovery so large that it overshadowed inland basins. The economic, political, infrastructural momentum shifted instantly towards the Niger Delta. Swamps were easier to drill than the rugged inland terrains of the southeast, and with limited technology at the time, Nigeria's young oil industry followed the path of the least resistance. So the early discoveries in the Anambra basins were left dormant, archived, forgotten. If the Southeast holds so much wealth, why did development lag behind? Experts point to 5 reasons. International oil companies saw lower risk offshore. Roads, pipelines, and logistics were underdeveloped. Energy policy for decades centered on coastal basins. Some companies avoided frontier regions. Budget priority favored Niger Delta. But today, a shift is happening. As Nigeria diversifies its energy portfolio, inland basins like Anambra are gaining new importance. By the early 2000s, new seismic technologies capable of imaging deep reservoirs brought renewed interest. Companies returned, surveys expanded, old maps were re-examined, new prospects emerged. Then came the groundbreaking milestone. In 2012, Anambra State was officially declared an oil-producing state after commercial flows were confirmed from OPL 915 and 916. It was a moment of vindication, proof that decades of geological predictions were correct. The Southeast had oil, it had gas, and more importantly, it had massive reserve base waiting to be developed. Let's examine the facts. According to Nigeria's Upstream Regulator report, Anambra State production 2023 to 2024, 4.78 million barrels of crude oil, 7.44 billion cubic feet of natural gas. Imo State, home to the giant Imo River field and several marginal fields. Abia State produces condensate and associated gas through multiple operators. These are not projections, these are official production figures, and beyond current production lies an even more powerful statistics. The Anambra business potential, up to 30 trillion cubic feet of gas, billions of barrels in yet to be quantified oil reserves, 70 plus identified hydrocarbon leads and prospects, multiple deep reservoirs capable of long-term productions. This is not small. This is a national level energy power. The Southeast's greatest treasure is not even its oil, it is natural gas, cleaner, cheaper, and more abundant. With 30 trillion cubic feet beneath its soil, the basin could power gas-to-power plants across the region, fertilizer and petrochemical industries, CNG and auto gas for transportation, new manufacturing hubs. Nigeria is shifting to gas-powered economy, and the Southeast is uniquely positioned to lead this transition. Oil and gas can do more than produce revenue. They can transform entire cities. Full development of the basin would create hundreds of thousands of jobs, increase IGR for all 5 southeastern states, stimulate construction, housing, logistics and transport, attract foreign investors, encourage local manufacturing, reduce dependence on imported fuels, strengthen Nigeria's economic stability. The Southeast, with its famous entrepreneurship, could become a mini Dubai, powered by its own natural wealth. Unlike some parts of the Niger Delta, the Southeast has an opportunity to extract oil and gas without major environmental destructions. New technologies allow minimal land clearance, reduced gas flaring, horizontal drilling, cleaner production methods. Communities insist on transparency, and local governments, more aware of past mistakes elsewhere, are demanding environmental responsibility. The Southeast can become a model of modern sustainable oil extraction. As Nigeria moves towards a future powered by gas, industry, and innovation, the story of the Southeast is being rewritten. No longer sidelined in national energy debate, no longer dismissed as a region without resources, it stands today as one of the richest underdeveloped hydrocarbon provinces in West Africa, a sleeping giant awakening. From the valleys of Anambra to the fields of Imo and Abia to the highlands of Enugu and Ebonyi, the Southeast carries within its soil the potential to power homes, industries, cities, and to transform the energy destiny of a nation. This is not the end of the story. It is only the beginning. And so as the sun sets over the rolling hills of the Southeast, as the rivers flow quietly through the ancient towns and rising cities, we are reminded of a simple truth. A region's strength is not only found in the resources beneath its soil, but in the vision of its people and the willingness to tell its true story. For too long, the oil and gas wealth beneath the Southeast has been overlooked, misunderstood, or ignored. But knowledge is power, and by understanding this hidden reserve, we reshape the future, not just for a region, but for an entire nation. If this documentary has opened your eyes, if it has given you a new understanding of the Southeast, then let this be only the beginning of the conversation. To support more factual, deeply researched stories like this, stories that highlight the truth, correct the myths, and celebrate the beauty and potential of Eastern Nigeria, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notification bell so you never miss a new episode. Share this video with friends and family and anyone who needs to understand the real story of the Southeast. Together, we can amplify the truth. Together, we can rewrite the narrative. Together, we can illuminate the path towards a stronger, more prosperous region.
The 40 cubic feet of gas plants and 200 million barrels of condensate production benchmark, earlier inaugurated in 2024 by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is set to commence operations in Asa community of Imo State in July 2025. This came to the fore during a high-level visit of the management of Anoh Gas on the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodimma, preparatory to the formal takeoff of the plant, which is a product of 50-50% equity incorporated joint venture between NNPC Limited and Seplat.
Last year, President Bola Tinubu commissioned the plant during May, one of the key projects in Nigeria. So since then, we've been working on the plant, and now we came to inform the Excellency that we are ready now to start commissioning the plant with gas, and also to start gas production sometime in July. So from July this year, Imo State will join one of the biggest states for gas production in the country.
I'm happy that they're about to go into operation, and I'm also happy that the value it will add to Imo State and indeed Nigeria is also enormous. So on that note, we have discussed and have pledged to cooperate with them, to give them all the necessary support, and also requested that they should also cooperate with us in our developmental strides in Imo State.
The plant is designed to process 3 million standard cubic feet of gas through the energy market and liquefied petroleum gas through the domestic market in Imo, along with the corporate social responsibilities in the history of the community and beyond.
This is the newly completed modular refinery constructed by Walter Smith Petroman Oil Limited, located in Ibigwe community in Ohaji-Egbema local government area of Imo State. According to the management of Walter Smith, this refinery, which was completed in record time, is expected to produce 5,000 barrels of oil per day and 271 million litres of petroleum products, including diesel, kerosene, PMS, aviation fuel and LPG, which is just the first phase of the project, while in the second phase, the facility will target the production of 25,000 barrels of oil per day.
By doing this process, we're going to add value by creating jobs, employment for a lot of people, skills acquisition, contribution to the overall economic development and GDP growth.
When we go into petrochemicals,
the managing director and CEO of Walter Smith Petroman Oil Limited, Chikezie Nwosu, says aside job creation for the host community, the impact on the immediate community will be enormous, especially when the Walter Smith goes into petrochemicals.
The jobs it will create, because the upstream business that we started doesn't create that many jobs, but the downstream business creates multiples of jobs. And we've seen that even in the construction phase, where the number of jobs that were created, this entire outside battery limit was built specifically by Nigerians. There's a company that was running it, but the hands that were doing this were Nigerians, both skilled and unskilled labor.
Meanwhile, the leader of the team from the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, Mr. Yusuf Usman, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Gas and Power, commends Walter Smith for this laudable project.
If we are in a position to reflect this kind of activity, it means we can reach self-sufficiency in terms of processing petroleum crude oil and create the products and safe foreign exchange from importation.
According to the Walter Smith management, the official launch of this facility is expected to come up later in October, and no doubt when operations at this modular refinery start fully, access to affordable petroleum products for people in the southeast will be made easier and faster.